Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar presented by Ultima Financial Planners. My name is Henry de Klerk and I'd just like to introduce Eugene Antak, who's going to do the presentation today. The presentation is on retrenchment and all the details with regards to retrenchment, and we really hope that you will enjoy this presentation with us. You will see on the Teams event that you've joined that there is the option to ask questions. There is on the right top hand side, you should be able to show a Q&A or a Q&A facility. There's two speech bubbles with a question mark. Please do ask questions throughout the presentation and we'll see if we can have time at the end to answer your questions. So I'm just going to introduce Eugene. She is one of our financial planners, and Eugene is a financial planner with a background in deceased estates, curatorships, drafting of wills and administration of trusts. Her experience was gained from different sectors in the fiduciary industry, i.e. the master of the High Court, attorneys and trust companies, and she is also a certified financial planner professional with that designation as well. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Eugene Antak to do the presentation today.
Thank you, Henry, for this opportunity for me to present this. Welcome, listeners. I think retrenchment is both an emotional issue and a very current one, but at the same time, it's technical, and there's sometimes so much information that one needs to take in, so that makes the presentation maybe a little bit cold or boring, but that's really not the intention. Right now, it's happening everywhere in the world and everywhere, and it's a word that we as employees dread. But these are abnormal circumstances, and it's out of everybody's control what is really happening. But if you are retrenched, stay calm. Don't panic, even if you are in shock and anxious. You may feel as if your whole world has been turned upside down. You walked out of office one day as the state of emergency was declared. You worked from home for a while or had a break. And the next thing you know, you're no longer employed. And you don't have an opportunity to physically work through this. The means of communication are all electronic, no human interaction, no chance to share with your colleagues, and no farewell. Don't take it personally. This might have been a very tough decision for your employers to make as well. Process this. It is a loss and you need to work through it. And it means different things to different people. It's a loss of income, a loss of control, a loss of security, feelings of failure, a loss of power and purpose. It may be necessary to go through the cycles of grief, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance to get to the other side and to survive. I remember when I was retrenched, my first reaction was shock, and then tears, and then fear, and then anger. And it affects those around you as well. You may not realize it. Years later, when my young children and I drove past the offices where I used to be, they would still say negative things about the company where I was retrenched. So also bear in mind, it affects the people around you. And communicate this to others. You are not alone. Once you are at work, once you have worked through some of this, to share it with your family, your partner, and the people affected by this. Be brave enough to have the difficult conversations with them. Also, let them support you, and remember, this is not your fault. Communicating with them and anybody else will help you to come to terms with this situation. Be informed about your rights. It is highly unlikely that we are all aware of the processes, but a place to start is with Section 189 of the Labour Relations Act. This regulates the processes in respect of permanent employees and fixed-term contractors. I saw that the attorneys Cliff Decker and Hofmeyer have a very detailed retrenchment guideline on their website, and it was updated again on the 20th of July, so it's very current. But should you have any doubts about the processes that are being followed or whether your benefits have been calculated correctly, you need to obtain independent legal advice or consult a labour law specialist. So, where does one begin? How do you start reassessing your situation and seeing what needs to be done? I think you start with budgeting and planning. If you have a budget, revise it. Otherwise, take your bank statements and go through them for the last month, 3 months, to see what has gone through, all the debit orders, how much funds you've drawn, what else is happening. Do it with a fine-tooth comb. Identify the expenses that are unavoidable and those that are non-essential. Identify each debit and credit and work through it. Take stock of your funds, slash, reevaluate, reduce. Work out how much you need per month to survive. And then shop smartly. Assess what you can do yourself. Dashni Naidu, a F&B spokesperson and program manager, says that these trying times call for cautious spending. Save wherever possible. One cannot predict how long it will take for the situation to stabilize. Look out for specials and make use of loyalty reward programs to benefit from what is already in place, not to spend more. And even if you've not been retrenched or your working hours cut, consider your spending habits. We all need to adjust our expectations. We need to cultivate good and disciplined money habits, focus on basics and essentials, curb unnecessary spending, and pay off short-term debt as soon as possible. This is also where a financial advisor can be of assistance. Budgeting, planning, setting out the legal, tax and financial implications of the severance package and the retirement benefits. Let them help you develop a clear, long-term financial plan for your funds. If you don't have one, the FPI website can help you to find one in your area. Having a financial roadmap will help settle your nerves and give you confidence on your way forward. And this is really what we do. We do a holistic plan. It's about everything. It encompasses all your financial matters and not just your package, what you're getting now, your retrenchment. So it's a long-term plan. What are your options and how can you get help? Well, the first thing they say is be proactive. Contact your creditors before you fall into arrears. Notify them of your change in circumstances and ask them what payment arrangements can be made to facilitate your changed circumstances. Possibilities are lower interest rates, reduced installments or payment holidays. Apply for COVID relief. Make use of the relief offered by the banks, insurance companies, medical aids, as well as the relief programs for businesses. This is temporary and usually only for 3 to 6 months, but it can provide you with the time needed to assess your situation thoroughly and to apply for employment. Various government departments, such as the Industrial Development Corporation, the Solidarity Response Fund, and the Temporary Employer Relief Fund, are also offering relief. The TERS Fund's relief has now been extended to the 15th of August. And there are private relief funds, the Johan Rupert Foundation and the Motsepe Foundation, for instance. Admittedly, there are issues, but about 4.7 million workers have received relief already. Some of our clients have also received funding for their staff, but not without some struggles and a lot of effort and patience. A website that sets out the details of the government relief together with the documentation required and the lodgement details is the Women's Legal Centre in Cape Town. This document is known as the Relief Toolkit. The RSG radio station also has excellent contact details for coronavirus helplines and other relief measures. We're now getting to an even more technical part. And what we've noticed is that when people are advised by their work that they will be retrenched, immense pressure is put on them to make very sudden decisions, and these are really big decisions and difficult to make. So where you have a choice, you've got to ask for a bit of time out and say, but this is really big, we need to think about it. But I think, like with the perusal of one's bank statement, one could probably start with a list of your payments that you make. In other words, in this case, what financial products do you have where you can improve or change, or what you can do so that you can cope. Risk assurance refers to life, disability, income protection, and dread disease cover. This is often the first debit that one cancels. Right now, this is not important. It's not vital. Yet, try to maintain this cover, even if it is tempting to cancel it. Cancellation can have the effect that when reapplying, the premiums may be higher and there may be underwriting requirements or additional loading or exclusions. Apart from the COVID relief offered by various life companies such as Holland, PPS and Liberty, check your contract or check with a service provider for premium breaks, waivers, different premium payment options, or a contingency option for you to retain the group cover without medical underwriting and premium waivers. We have implemented for some of our clients the relief offered by the insurance companies, and in the majority of instances, it was quick and successful. As regards medical aid cover, again, try not to let the cover lapse. Establish firstly whether your employer has an option for you to continue on the same medical aid in your individual name. Be aware that the option is only available for a limited time after the employment contract is ended. If there is no such option, ensure that there is no break in membership when moving from the employer's medical aid to your own, even if you've had to downgrade to a cheaper option. The Council for Medical Schemes has advised that schemes will grant relief. Each scheme will assess on merit what to allow. For example, some schemes with members who have unspent savings could allow these members to offset the monthly premium against their unused savings for 3 months. Bearing in mind, however, that this might mean that you have no savings for the rest of the year. Check with your medical scheme what relief they offer. If you are absolutely unable to continue with the monthly premiums, do not allow this to last longer than 3 months, as the 3 to 12 month waiting period could be placed on any existing conditions and late joiner penalties could be applicable. Check with your credit providers in respect of your credit cards, retail store accounts, car finance, personal loans or home loans, whether you have credit life insurance. Although the main purpose of this is of course to pay off your debt in the event of your death, it could also include cover to pay your installments if you are retrenched or unable to pay back your loan for a certain period of time. Group life cover. At retrenchment, you will lose any group life or disability benefits that you have through your employer. Check with HR whether there is a continuation option which will allow you to convert this cover into a policy in your name. This is beneficial as no medical aid underwriting will be required, which means that there will be no exclusions or loaded premiums. This also ensures that there will be no break in your insurance cover. The continuation option is generally only valid for 60 days after you have ceased working, so don't delay. Most banks are willing to assist financially distressed clients, and they already have structures and mechanisms in place for clients who experience financial difficulties. They can, for instance, help you to restructure your loans or allow you a payment holiday, reduce your payments for a limit period, or allow for interest-only payments. As indicated earlier, talk to the bank earlier rather than later, and definitely before you go into arrears. They are more likely to be sympathetic. I've seen on social media that school fees is an issue, and I understand that children have not been going to school, but I think that industry is under such pressure and the children. So if you find that the school says the fees are due and you cannot pay them, communicate this to the school. You can apply via the school governing body for full, partial or conditional exemption. A private education institution like Curo, for instance, have also set up a fund to provide parents with relief in the form of temporary reductions in fees and financial support. Register your UIF claim. Check your salary slip to ensure that it reflects the UIF deduction, and then claim as soon as possible via the UIF unemployment benefits website. And the processes are under the website www.labour.gov.za. Again, I think it's just so much to do, but if one makes a checklist and you note it all down and work through it, it might feel a bit better. And then where discretionary investments and unit trust retirement annuities are concerned, you can put the contributions on hold or reduce them at any time without any penalties or loss of benefits. And once you are able, you can restart the contributions. Now that you've done everything, you can and explore all possibilities. What are the money steps? Firstly, we recommend that you use your emergency fund. So if you have put aside funds for 3 to 6 months expenditure, which is the purpose of an emergency fund, this should be used to cover your adjusted monthly expenses while you're not working. And as you've adjusted your budget, this might last longer than the 3 to 6 months the funds were initially set aside for. If, however, you do not have an emergency fund, you will be obliged to start making use of your severance package until you start earning again. In other words, you'll have to calculate how long your severance package will provide for monthly living expenses. You may well ask, what is a severance package and how is it taxed? A severance benefit is the cash payment that you receive due to the loss of your employment. Legislation provides that you are entitled to at least 1 week's pay for each year of completed service. Your employment contract may also have details to this effect. The benefits due to you could be in the form of outstanding leave, the severance offering, notice pay, your pro rata share of any bonuses, or commission and retirement fund benefits. Bear in mind that that portion of your severance package made up of leave pay and a pro rata bonus is subject to normal income tax, the normal rates applicable to individuals. The balance of the severance package and your retirement benefits are taxed in terms of the lump sum benefit retirement tax tables. I'll elaborate on that in a minute. I do want to emphasize, guard your severance package fiercely, like a Rottweiler, as until you've secured new employment, you may need to live off it. As far as lump sum benefits at retrenchment are concerned, there is a tax incentive. But just before I discuss that, you can avoid paying any tax by leaving your retirement savings either in your employer's fund until you find a new employer, or you can transfer it to a retirement annuity or preservation fund. The full value of your package and retirement benefit will be transferred and no tax deducted. Failing the no tax transfer, the first 500,000 of the lump sum is subject to tax at 0%. From 501,000 Rand, the lump sum is taxed at 18 to 36% depending on the lump sum amount. This is a once-in-a-lifetime benefit. In other words, if ever previously you have withdrawn any lump sums from severance or retirement benefits, this will be included in the tax-free calculations. It is crucial to preserve pension and provident funds at all costs. The use of your retirement savings when you are not retiring is a short-term strategy with long-term consequences. There could be penalties and serious tax implications as well. At the very worst, if you are forced to use your retirement savings to survive, draw only what you absolutely have to. Where to from here? You need to find a new job. What strategies can you put in place? Well, you can update and improve your CV. I think when one's not looking for work, it just lies there and doesn't get updated. One has to look at your references again, the phone numbers, the details. Don't be shy to ask for written references from your colleagues, clients and service providers. Set up a LinkedIn profile. It is recommended that you use a professional photograph of yourself and then ask for endorsements from your network. Develop a job-seeking business plan. Research the businesses, organizations you are interested in and customize your application to specifically meet their criteria. Do not forget to ask the HR specialist handling your retrenchment about the possibility of redeployment within the company, even if it is in another role or division. This also then makes it worthwhile to maintain good relationships with your previous employer, colleagues, clients, and service providers. See whether there is in the interim freelance or temporary work. As there will be additional time, upskill by developing new skills or expanding your existing skill set. Register for free online courses offered by Udemy or Coursera, for instance. At the same time, you can, with the social needs out there, offer your services freely, especially in these uncertain times where one is hyper aware of social needs. I read about 300 chefs in 10 cities who got together to make 77,455,000 liters of soup. They beat their target and were able to serve 309,820 cups of soup to hungry people. That is amazing. You can even play it forward or offer to pay for someone's groceries. It will be good for you too. Use the opportunity that is being thrust upon you to change. Most of us don't like change and don't want to change, but we have no choice sometimes. I read an article by Clive van der Wagen, who worked in magazine publishing. The article was called "Losing My Job Was the Jolt I Needed to Find Myself." He was in magazine publishing, and we know from the news over the last few months that the industry is crippled. Clive was without work due to the closure of Caxton. He knew that he could either sink into despair or create an opportunity for himself by believing that he was his own business and not merely, as in his words, an unemployed male in his 40s. In the first 60 days of lockdown, he recreated himself and created a new business, now known as Ready People, a training company. He used his knowledge, experience, abilities, and skills to create a new future for himself. Also think about reskilling. Think about your skills differently. Ask those around you, what are you good at? Consider other industries and what will the premium skills be going forward. It seems that we will all be returning to a much changed workplace, whether in a new position or in the same position. For none of us will it necessarily be the familiar or the comfortable. New policies and procedures are already in place. Handshakes have to be replaced. Facial cues no longer exist, only eyes and eyebrows. We need to build resilience, it seems. The world has entered the fourth industrial revolution with a bang. Futurists have been warning us about this for some time. We will be doing jobs that do not yet exist. Internet of Things specialist, cyber security manager, AI specialist, drone pilot, cloud computing engineer, blockchain technologist, I can't even pronounce the words, genetic counselor, clinical scribe, cypro preservation specialist, medical roboticist, custom implant organ designer and developer. You have the opportunity to reskill yourself now. You will then be prepared to adapt your career to meet the job roles of the future. It seems we all are going to need an attitude and aptitude for lifelong learning. Losing one's job is very traumatic. But if you are still feeling the loss, or you're feeling alone, approach someone you can trust, a close friend or relative, your GP, medical aid wellness line, the South African Depression and Anxiety Group, Lifeline, your pastor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist. They are there to help you, and they can and will. But remember, what you focus on expands. Focus on the positive. Thank you.
Thank you, Eugene. Thank you so much. I haven't seen any questions coming through so far, so that's okay. You're very welcome to send us a question on our Facebook page, on our email, on funds@ultimafp, financial planning.co.za. Or just contact us on our phone line, which is 012 348 1386. That's 012 386 1386. Sorry, I botched that up now. Just want to confirm that that's 012 348 1386. That's the phone number. So thank you so much then. Thank you, Eugene. Really appreciate your time and the presentation that you've given. We look forward to seeing everyone at our following presentations coming forward. So please watch out for the press. We'll send out invitations. Have a good day. We'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.